Richard Jacobs with myDUIattorney.org, and I'm here today with Eric Sachs, a criminal defense lawyer in Long Island, New York. Welcome, Mr. Sachs. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. He's agreed to let me interview him today, so I'm going to get right into the questions. And my first question for him is, what made you choose to handle DWI cases, and what motivates you to be a criminal defense lawyer?
Well, I've been a public servant most of my life, from the time I was a kid, moving up to the time when I was an assistant district attorney, and then time to become a criminal defense attorney. And I realized that there are things that you need to do that are the right thing to do for people, and people need help. They don't want to be preyed upon. They want to have somebody who knows with the law and can help them with whatever problem they seem to have. DUIs, DWIs, have become such a major issue nowadays that I find that people, more so than anything, the innocent people, the people who are not criminals, it's a mistake that you can make, like a speeding ticket or anything else. It's a mistake, but it can be a very costly mistake, and
right.
it can vastly and grossly affect your life.
Okay. And how many cases do you think that you've handled, and in what time period?
Over the past 26 years, I've handled probably close to 300 or more DUI cases.
Quite a few. Is there any typical defendant circumstance you get more first-time offenders, or men or women, or older people, younger?
Well, we handle, obviously I handle the whole gamut of cases. The most that we seem to have seem to be men more than women, and probably in their 30s through 50s. And the majority of them are first-time offenders, and because they are first-time offenders, again, the person who made the mistake, it is critical that those cases are handled correctly, because for the rest of their lives, any prior blemish on their record, again, could be a big problem.
Okay. Do you tend to see that more of your clients have high blood alcohol levels, or a lot of them coming close to that 0.08 limit?
I think we see nowadays more close to the limit. A lot that are probably a little bit below the limit, and some that are go up to maybe a 0.13. Obviously, there are those that are higher, and in New York State we have 0.18 as an aggravated driving while intoxicated, but because the atmosphere on Long Island and the police officers are pulling people over for anything that they think can be a DWI, a lot of people are coming in now with the low readings.
Okay. Do you see a lot of the cases due to alcohol or drugs? Which one's more? And if it's drugs, is it harder or easier to defend?
Okay, still the majority are alcohol related.
Okay.
I do see a lot of drugs, a lot more drug related accusations coming in now. Even people that are unfortunate enough that they need regular medication. They're on prescription medication. As soon as the police officers hear that you're on medication, even though it's legal, it's prescribed, it doesn't say that you can't operate even heavy machinery, those people are accused of driving under the influence by drugs.
Really? So even if I said I took Tylenol for my headache?
Well, Tylenol is not so much the issue. People who are taking Oxycontin, people who are taking a small amount of Xanax, people who are on Adderall, people who have ADD taking Adderall, the prescription medication, even though a lot of these medications do not impair you, will not impair you,
right.
By virtue of the fact that you have it, or you've told them that it's in your system, or for some reason they've gotten a blood test and it shows up even as a trace, the government will prosecute you for driving while intoxicated by use of drugs.
Right. Well, what would you say is, I mean, you've already spoken about this, but what's unique about the DWI laws in, Nassau County, the counties you service, and Long Island and New York?
Well, Nassau County is very unique. There's the district attorney campaigned and was elected based upon her war, and that's what she calls it. It is a war against drunk drivers. And because of her position, the surrounding counties are pressured to also prosecute cases that they may not feel as strongly need to be prosecuted. In Nassau County, just about every traffic offense seems to have a DWI tinge to it. Every police officer thinks that no matter what happens, every traffic accident seems to have a DWI relation to it, even though it's not. So most of the people who are innocent, not only not guilty, but who are innocent, who haven't done anything wrong other than had a traffic ticket, a traffic infraction, maybe have been on the telephone or was texting or took any kind of maneuver to even avoid a pothole. The first thought that goes through the government's mind, the police officer's mind, is you must be intoxicated. They will pull you over, and the police officers here and the government does not look to investigate. They only look to see what they can find to prosecute you for that.
Okay. So what would be your best tip, if I'm here, I'm driving around, I see the lights flash behind me, and maybe I've been drinking a little bit, or what should I do, what shouldn't I do? Is there anything I should do?
Absolutely. What you should do is obviously pull over, be polite to the police officer, but there are so many reasons not to take any test that it's hard to say never take the test. Obviously, commercial driver's licenses are special issuance. If you do not take the test and you refuse or you're accused of refusing the test, meaning what they refer to as the field sobriety tests,
right,
roadside, taking any kind of breath test or a blood test, you will have a license ramification for that. But besides the license ramification, there is almost nothing I would do to tell you to take that test. I would deal with the license revocation because the tests that are made are not fair tests. They're made for you to fail them.
Right, okay.
If you do everything properly, the test is called inconclusive. So there's nothing you can really say or do. If the police officer is determined that you're intoxicated, they're going to arrest you. And
right,
unless you have some special reason that you need to take it, I would advise everybody first talk to an attorney before you have a right to talk to an attorney before you take the test.
Okay.
But most of the time, I would tell everybody, be polite and politely refuse to take those tests.
And just to get into more detail, when you say the tests, field sobriety versus the preliminary breath test, should you say no to both, or just the field sobriety, or just the...
I would say no to both. I would be polite. I would be cooperative. I would hand over the documents. Everything that you do in the normal course of the day shows that you are not intoxicated.
Okay.
It's only when you take the tests that the government has created, those tests are made to show, or to try and show, that you're intoxicated. Standing on one leg doesn't really show that you can or cannot operate a motor vehicle.
Right.
Walking a straight line. None of these tests that they give you, you had to take to get a driver's license.
That's true. Yeah.
None of the tests that they ask you to take shows whether or not you can operate a motor vehicle. So, because of that, we tell everybody there's really no reason to take those. But by your driving and pulling over to the side of the road, that is a normal operation. By handing your driver's license to the police officer, by handing him the registration and the insurance card, those are all normal things that we do.
Right.
That shows that you can understand, you can multitask, and you can operate a motor vehicle. The fact that you can or cannot stand on one leg doesn't mean you can or cannot drive a motor vehicle properly.
Okay. So what kinds of help can you provide to DWI defendants? Can you reduce their time in jail, or reduce their fines or classes? What kinds of things can you do?
Well, many times we can do all of those, depending upon the circumstances. But a lot of times, by the time people contact me, they've already taken the tests, they've already made their statements, they've said and done different things. But by having the knowledge in the DUI field of what goes into a driving while intoxicated case, what the government looks for, and how to defend these cases, we are very successful in reducing jail time, sometimes to no time at all, to license revocations. If the case gets reduced, then your license ramifications will be lessened. So there's a lot of things that go into the proper defense of a DWI case, other than just showing up in court and pleading somebody guilty. So there's a lot that we can do. And the sooner they call an attorney, the better it is for them.
Yeah, that's good to know.